Hey everybody, how you doing? That was a crazy hype video, and now for something completely different. Today, we're actually talking about our brand new project, The Deadly Trio. And without further ado, I'd love to bring on our co-creators on this project, Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor. Welcome to the stage.
Hey, Brian, man, how's it going, buddy?
How's it going? Great, guys. How are you?
We're doing great.
Doing
we got
okay.
We got the banner up. We got matching your banner. Yes. We got the East Coast covered, and you got the rest of the United States covered for us.
That's right. So check it out, everybody. This is how this is going to go. So we're going to introduce to you the Deadly Trio, and we're going to ruminate a little bit about it and how it all came together. We're going to show you the additions that we're going to offer. We're going to show you some of the pages. We're going to get everybody's input on it. So I figured I'd start out simply by telling the story. And this part of the story is the story of the story, which I think, Jimmy, you could probably tell people. What's the story behind the story?
So the story behind the story is that, Brian and Amanda and I, we've known each other for, oh my God, I want to say like 93, 94, maybe?
30 years.
30 years. So we know, and who's not here is Billy Tucci. I don't know who Billy is, but he's here in spirit. We've all known each other for years. We all started doing comics around the same time, and also we got inspired to put out our own books. So with Lady Death, Brian did Lady Death, we did Painkiller Jane and Ash and all those things, and then and Billy did She, and we've been friends ever since. We're talking 30 years of comics and watching each other's careers go sideways and up and down and all over the place, and besides being friends, like we literally can just get together. We haven't seen each other in 6 months, and it's like yesterday. And but we love comics. We grew up on a steady diet of superhero comics and horror comics, and actually it's in our blood. I mean, Amanda as well, right? It's in your blood.
Oh my God.
You've been reading comics since how old?
I'm gonna say 5.
There you go. So anyway, we've all worked. We've done it. We've done the San Diego Comic Con together as one big booth. We've done a lot of stuff in our careers, and we all started doing at one point Kickstarters, and we just got together. I think we were probably out by you, Brian, when we were just like talking about the idea, like, well, we all love the female characters. We all love science fiction and horror and fantasy. And we said, how about we just kind of get together and create something together where we each create a character. In Amanda and I case, it's like a character and a sidekick, and then see if we can, put our heads together, come up with something fun, and come out with something that's we feel is a little different. But we're big Star Wars fans, and we're big horror fans, and a little bit of all our influences slammed together, and that's. I like to say the Deadly Trio is the 3 characters in the book, but I think it's the 3 groups of us getting together and doing this book.
I think so. Yeah, it's been fun. I'll tell you what, I'm going to tell you guys and gals out there who are watching, let me tell you the story. And again, I give all credit to Jimmy and Amanda for really leading the charge and making this amazing world that Billy and my characters could kind of step into and contribute. And that'd be another fun thing was those guys set the world up. And then we got to invent our own characters and how they would behave. And one of the cool things that was unknown was how would all 3 of our characters behave against each other. And that was really fun about telling the story. So this is what we all came up with. Calissa Gore, an evil warlord, feared throughout the galaxy, hungers for power, demands submission, and destroys everyone in her path. She desires an audience with her God. To make this a reality, all life in the universe must be extinguished in her name. No one is a match for Gore in her vast armies, but there is a deadly trio who dares the impossible. Dorian, a planet-hopping mechanic, and her best friend, Rondo. Rondo's in there. Best friend, Rondo. Renne, a fighter pilot, with unmatched skills, and Garga, cult leader, sister of Calissa Gore herself. Can the deadly trio overcome insurmountable odds in each other, or is the universe doomed to extinction? So that's the basic story premise. And again, dude, I thought the ship that Calissa Gore rides that you guys invented is so cool. It's fantastic. It's a combination of a lot of wonderful elements. We're not going to see it today, but
Okay.
what I'd love to be able to do now is to show some pages so you guys and gals out there know what you're getting into, and maybe we could comment on them. So here's some pages over here representing each one of our characters. And I guess Jimmy and Amanda, if you have any thoughts on these pages, feel free.
Well, it's Adriana is the artist on it, and
she's terrific.
She knocked it out of the park. And with Dorian and Rondo, so Amanda, Dorian, she's a mechanic. She's very in touch with the universe. She's very she's a little bit like of a hit. If she was a space hippie, I would think that would almost be in the category. But she's the person in the story that is kind of trying to warn everybody that is coming. And Rondo, where's Rondo from, Amanda? Where's that from?
Rondo actually was, I had a cat named Rhonda Becky Rocket Monkey, and my cat kind of looked like a little monkey, like a perfect cross between a cat and a monkey, and that was the inspiration for Rondo.
And we needed because the beginning is Dorian and Rondo are pretty much, they've had something horrible happen to them, and they're trying to kind of space hop to kind of get to the next people and say, look, this is bad news. Stuff is coming. You gotta get together, get your armies together, and do something about it. But like anybody coming to warn things, half of the people don't believe them, and they have to deal with the fact that they're just too. I wasn't gonna say people, but Rondo's a person.
Space hoppers.
They're too space. They're trying to kind of ring the warning bell to something so much bigger than them. And nobody. It's sort of like if you knew 9/11 was going to happen, what would you do that morning? Like, what do you do? Who's going to believe you? And it's kind of like that in a way. Except it's funny because they're visiting different universes, and not every universe, the life in each universe is not in the same time zone of like where they're in space travel or they're far ahead in the world. And this is where the characters kind of jump from universe to universe, trying to stay ahead of Kalissa Gore and her violent maniacs.
Now the next character is Billy's character, Renne. And certainly in future previews, we're going to let Billy explain her further. But you'll take a look. One thing you'll notice is the character's emotion reflects the tonality in her skin. And what I can say from being part of the story is that she does tend to lean towards anger in sort of simplistic solutions that have catastrophic consequences. You'll notice she is a fighter pilot, so there's some wild, daring do that definitely harkens back not only to Star Wars, but other intergalactic adventures. Anything you guys would add or subtract to that?
Yeah, I think the character reflects who Billy is. She's involved in the military. She's very moody, turns red when he's angry, and he has a lot of fight in him. But he created a character that is a contrast to both yours, our characters, and yours, Brian's. And I think that's where the fun of the character is, because she's definitely a different person than Dorian and Rondo. And and to do a good team book, obviously you don't want them anything alike. So it's kind of fun. And unfortunately, her character has to go through what Dorian and Rondo already know is going to happen, and she has to go through it, unfortunately, to get to the place where she realizes what's at stake, and that's part of the story as well.
And that's true. So then I was invited, and the character I created, you'll take a look at, her name is Gara. So in her daily life, she is actually a cult leader, and, well, I don't want to give away some, but she may or may not have a relationship to our arch villain, Kalissa Gore. Now, you will notice that she has a human guise, but when she has the call to action, she actually takes on the visage of an actual gargoyle because she comes from a gargoyle race. And hopefully that brings up some questions. Is there such a thing as a gargoyle race? In our storyline, there is.
Hell yeah.
Now, hell yeah. In this page, we're actually seeing some of the characters beginning to interact. I'm going to let you guys read that to understand what's going on there, but that is fun. Here we have the character Garga meeting up with Rondo. So there's some sort of fun connection between the two. But you're going to have to read it. You're going to have to read it.
Yeah.
Now, together, our companies solicited some of the finest talents known in the world of comics to make covers.
Yes.
And love to show you some of those. But first up, let's show you what we're calling a mock-up of the main edition. This is the premiere edition. So the basics of our storyline, the Deadly Trio, is the following talent: Jimmy Palmiotti, Amanda Conner, Brian Pulido, Billy Tucci, writers and creators. Adriana Mello is the illustrator. Giuliano Paratelli is the colorist, and Marshall Dillon is the letterer, and he created the logo. The book will be 32 pages with 26 pages of story and art and really cool stuff in the back. Now, you feast your eyes on the main edition, the premiere edition by Adriana. And I am going to keep revealing additional editions. Here is the Billy Tucci edition, which was colored by Wes Hartman. And here is the Amanda Conner edition, colored by Amanda Conner. Amanda, do you have anything to say or any observations about this particular illustration?
Well, I'm a huge fan of like Pulp Fiction cover art and like the old like posters. You know, like back in the 60s and 70s, they used to have like just crazy posters with, you know, people fighting or hot nurses or, you know, like, or just science fiction in general, or, you know, Barbarella is a great example of an amazing, you know, poster. And I was really inspired by that sort of Pulp Fiction kind of crazy stuff happening on another planet. So that's where I was going with this one. And I wanted to show all the characters in action.
It's an amazing expression of character through illustration, as Amanda Conner is known to do throughout her illustrious career, and is second to none, I might say. Now, Jimmy Palmiotti invited Joseph Michael Lindner to the stage, and boom, check out what he created for the Deadly Trio.
Yeah, but Joe knocked it out of the park on this one. Obviously, Joe's known for his very sexy women. I mean, look at that. I almost need some alone time for that cover, but it's just a great painted cover by Joe. You know, I love. He really had no direction. We just gave him the book and said, you know, we trust Joe. Have fun. And he did. He came out with this great little. It kind of reminds me of Barbarella, the beginning of Barbarella, where she's floating in space and getting dressed a little bit. It's just amazing. It's just an amazing cover. I think it's going to be one of the great chase covers in the sets, I think.
I agree. And the cool thing is we're offering these editions, the ones that we've just introduced to you, for the nominal price of $20. And then these editions by Amanda, Billy, Joe at $25. Now we're going to get to the later part of the campaign, and there are going to be some very limited enhanced editions for collectors. But let's continue our preview. Next up, Chad Harden. I think both Jimmy and Amanda have a good creative relationship with Chad.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I mean, Chad,
he's so good.
He was our guy on Harley Quinn when we did Harley Quinn for 5 years. Chad was our main artist, and of course we invited him to kind of give his own little look to the thing. And boy, he went nuts. Yeah, the frog people. I mean, you know what's great? He just made up stuff that we're gonna have to use in the next issue. You know. It's just,
dude, as soon as I saw those frog people, I'm like, well, that is a tale for another time.
Yes, it is.
And any excuse to work with Chad.
Yeah, Chad is just amazing. There's so much life to that cover. And there's, you know, as usual with Chad, there's a lot of story in the cover. There's a lot going on. And yet, they're the characters clear as day, kind of working together to fight those frogs. I mean,
fight those frogs.
Evil space frogs, man.
I think this next cover is going to be there licking the frogs. After they kill, but that's another story.
So the next edition is by Lady Death artist Diego Bernard, and I think it's a very beautiful, sublime image. But one thing I would draw to your attention is it is one of the first covers to feature our supervillain, Calissa Gore.
Yeah, she's pissed off.
She's pissed off. Diego always delivers the goods. I think he captures the essence of each character, and it's the first time he illustrated them. Next up,
beautiful.
Pardon me?
It's a beautiful cover.
Yeah.
He did great. Next up is another Coffin Comics mainstay, the artist on La Muerta and Lady Gunfighter for over a decade, Joel Gomez. brings his unique style to this same story. You know, I'm getting a theme here, which I'm fine with, which is Dorian winds up being the leader by proxy. Like, she finds herself, just because she knows something, she winds up being the person who has to kind of call everyone together. And that's probably not completely natural for her.
Heard the cats.
Heard those cats. Next up, we have another Coffin Comics contributor, Jose Varese, with his inimitable style, pinup, hot lady style. And look, take a look at the people who are associated with this project. You know, are there mature themes? Are there hot ladies? Is there ridiculous situations? I think we're guilty on all charges.
Yes. Thank God.
Nighttime. Next up, this is Ben Caldwell. Jimmy, anything you want to say about Ben's cover? And that's actually, check this out.
That's
this is
the first time I'm seeing that one. That is out of sight.
That is a fight. That is a fight cover. And Ben, you know, again, we gave the interiors of Ben, and Ben went crazy in illustrating one of the scenes in the book. And it's got so much power and movement. And Ben Caldwell is like, you know, he's one of those guys, if you know comics, he's just amazing in everything he does. But that one, he knocked it out of the park, man. That thing was so different and so cool looking. It's almost like you walked in the middle of a movie. As Frank Frazetta used to say, there's a lot of action, but as an illustrator, you kind of catch that prime moment. And I think Ben caught a real prime moment right there.
No doubt about it. Another thing to mention, just like some housekeeping, the Deadly Trio debuts on Kickstarter on Wednesday, November the 20th at 6 p.m. sharp. And you're going to want to be there, not just for the wonderful editions we're showing you now, but for some of the cool, crazy, enhanced limited editions that you may or may not be seeing today. So next up is Dan Lawless. Dan Lawless actually has contributed a really cool Lady Death cover years ago for the comics market. And Billy brought Dan on board. And again, I do think he captures the essence and the fun and the flow of the series.
Yeah, it's inspiring. That's a beautiful, beautiful cover.
Really smart to use that blue background and make the characters pop.
Yeah.
Next up, here we have the next one brought in by Billy, and I believe that is Leandro Oliveira.
Oh, okay.
This is an artist that Billy has been working with, and this is a cool intergalactic image of the characters getting ready for action.
Mm-hmm.
And then rounding out our main additions, we have the one and only Eve Souza, and she is brought on board by Billy. And in this case, yeah, you see Renne. Renne is looking rather blue.
Yeah.
So each of these editions are offered at $25. The main premiere is offered at $20, and that will include a free digital edition. It'll also include any free bonus items that we unlock. But hang on, folks, there's more. I hear that people like prints, and I know I do, so we made some available. The first two are the Billy Tucci and Amanda Connor commemorative prints. These prints will be limited in nature, and they're going to be featuring serial numbers, and you could get them for a very nominal price. Next up, we do have our main print set for this campaign, featuring artwork by Joe Lindner, Adriana Mello, Chad Harden, Diego Bernard, and Dan Lawless. And that is the official print set for the campaign.
Excellent.
Now, we know that there's people who love cards. So we offer up our key card set. And they are going to remain a question mark.
Ooh.
So there'll be a main card set, and this enhanced card set will be really fun. In future previews, we're going to show them. And what they're going to be are the actual character designs by Amanda, Billy, and Richard Ortiz in this case. And that'll be a lot of fun. Now, in conclusion, in terms of the collectability, you're going to notice at top, there's several questioned editions. Now, what we're going to reveal in the weeks to come are new, enhanced, hyper-limited, embossed metallic editions, foil editions, and you're just going to have to stay tuned for them. But what I can tell you in the privacy of this particular preview, that they're going to feature hyper-limited editions by Billy, Amanda, Lindner, and more. So I'll say no more, but that's what you need to know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, more to come. We'll actually do some more previews, and we'll actually go through all the rewards as well. But in essence, today, we want to get you guys and gals out there used to the Deadly Trio, get a sense of what we're pulling together. I'm going to give it back to Jimmy and Amanda, see if they have anything to say.
Amanda, anything?
You know what? I've seen most of this art, but there's a couple of covers there that I haven't seen yet, and I am blown away.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, they're I got to tell you, it's like for covers alone, they're fantastic. I already know what some of the stuff Brian has got coming, and it's impressive as hell. And like I said, it's so much fun to be able to kind of do a project like this and get it to you guys, because let's think about last time three companies worked together and put out a book. It doesn't happen very often. Yeah,
it's true. Yeah, this book is produced in cooperation with our three companies: Paper Films, Coffin Comics, and Crusade Comics.
It's what the best part of doing this kind of work is working with your friends. Because it doesn't feel like work. It feels like we're doing some fun. We're getting away with some fun, crazy project, and you guys out there are gonna be helping us. Out there picking it up and giving us the room to kind of do creative stuff like this. It's really important, I think, in this business where we have a lot of corporations that are not really giving too much of a crap lately on the products and the things they're doing. And it's kind of nice, I think, to get creators with different voices. We all have different voices, and get them together and create something that not only will come to life, but will have a life beyond what we're seeing today. So it's an exciting thing for us. I hope you guys out there are able to kind of not only talk about it, but maybe promote it yourselves, because we always appreciate you guys getting out there and making noise for us, because God knows most of the comic sites, they don't really have time for for people like us.
For the independent.
That's true.
Yeah.
Now, Tegan, in the background, I don't know if we have comments open, and if there are any, we're happy to hear them. The one thing I would love to share is that what I think is fun is that each of our characters seem to reflect our personalities. And I just love the idea that, like, the playful Dorian and Rondo kind of match up against, my intensely serious Garga. I love those kinds of interactions, because Dorian just can't help be who she is. Same thing with Rondo. And I think the same for Garga. And it's just fun to see all the contrasts.
Well, it was cool because, you guys, we had to kind of pull the ideas together. Like we got together and we talked about stuff, and it was like wrangling. It was like wrangling wild horses for a while.
This is true. That's right.
To get to the story where it all fit together. And the really great thing is it's really distinctive. At least I can tell in a second when it switches to Billy doing it, and then when it switches to Brian, and yet it all works together really well. But I think it's really cool. Because I think for every person picking up this book might not be familiar with the other work of the other two or something. So I think not only is there a lot of fun doing this, but there's also discovery within the book. And I think that is exciting for me as a comic book person, because I would love to have where creators work together without the voice of somebody else saying, you can't do that. There's no such thing with us where it's, you can't do that. We're like, how do we do that? And
that's right.
And
so I think Keegan has a question, possibly, if you want to pull it up. Yeah. Oh, so here's a great question. Is it a new series rather than a one-off? Jimmy, you could answer it.
I will say, if we do well with the Kickstarter, obviously we're gonna keep making more. Why wouldn't we? It all comes down, unlike publishers where they have giant corporations behind them. We have to kind of go out there and feel out the audience, make sure you guys like what we're doing, and we'll be able to tell by sales and orders if we can get on the next one. And by the way, if it does amazing, yeah, man, we're getting together. We're going to do a second one, of course.
That's right. And I got to tell you, that first issue has a very serious cliffhanger. Like
it does.
Like if that doesn't suck you in to want the next issue, then I don't know. I mean,
we're all positive thinkers, so we're like, of course there's going to be more. Like, we're all positive. Right. But at the end of the day, we really got to sit down and get in there, and all four of us, and really think hard about, okay, what do people really want to see, and what do people want in these characters, and what are expectations, and then how are we going to surprise them, and that kind of thing. So it's just a really good meeting of brains, and I think when you guys get the books and read them, you're going to be very happy. We're so proud of what we're doing here.
We are absolutely proud. So I'm going to get to the basics again, more housekeeping. The Deadly Trio premieres on Kickstarter November 20th, which is a Wednesday at 6 p.m. Arizona time. So tell your friends, tell your enemies. I want to thank Amanda and Jimmy, not only for being here today, but for their friendship through the years. Oh, wait, there seems to be one more question. Go for it.
Ask us anything.
It's not a question. Billy seems to maybe be on his way. If that's something.
Well, we're about to end the stream. So here's the good news. We are going to be doing 2 more previews coming up, and he will be absolutely welcome. Nothing personal, off to the next thing. So much love to all of you guys and gals. And again, can't thank you enough. Been a pleasure. Any chance to kind of like hang out with you guys is just always enriches my life. So don't mean to be corny, but that's true.
Until Billy's here, right now we are the Deadly Trio.
That's right. We're the Deadly Trio. So boys and girls, tune in. Special appearance by co-creator Billy Tucci on the next one. You guys and gals have been great. We've been the Deadly Trio. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Oh.